I'm live. Hello, I'm live. I feel like I'm really, really close to the. Maybe I didn't scoot it back. Now my phone's gonna ring. Well, my goodness, y'all. I gotta check my phone because it could be work. So if you come on, just hang on. Okay, sorry. I don't think anybody's on here anyways. But if you watch this later, sorry, I had to check because if it was work, I needed to answer it because I'm supposed to be working and I'm not. No, I was. I was until just a few minutes ago. I just swung in here real quick, but I've been working. I've been working um, all morning on the computer. I work on the computer. I'm working at home now all the time. So I've been working all morning. And when my phone started ringing, I should have put my phone on silent. I just won't answer it. But I thought, oh, it could be work. Better answer it. But I won't. I will give my full attention over here. So nobody's on yet. So I'm just going to maybe talk to the people that might watch this later. And then I may repeat myself when people start coming in. So anyway, it's hot here, hot, and humid. That's the bad thing. It's hot here. Like this is, I think, the first day it's gotten up to 98. It's supposed to get up to 98. I didn't check that, but it's humid, and I mean, we get humidity. Believe me, we get humidity. It's bad. Just walking outside right now is like catching, like you can't catch your breath. It's just hot. And I've been out there a few times dealing with animals, and and I've had some surprise animals. I'll tell you about in a minute. Can't get my shirt. The shirt feels funny. Went and put on a different shirt because I had one of my old shirts on. This one says local egg dealer. I love this shirt. I have two of these. I have a pink one and this gray one. Hi, Brenda. So I don't know if it's going in and out or what, but I see like somebody come on and then they go out. So I don't know what's going on. I hope it's all going good. Let me know if it looks good, sounds good, going good. Let me know. And Miss Brenda, I was just saying how hot it is here. It's so humid. It's like 98 degrees and really, really humid out there. I walked outside and it's just, you just can't catch your breath. It's so humid. And of course, Lee's having to work out in this. 93 with a heat index of 104. I think we're 98. I don't know what the heat index is. I didn't check all that. That's just what it was supposed to get up to. I may have to put on these ugly glasses. So here we go. Yeah. Yeah, that's better. Looks and sounds good to me. Okay, thank you. Well, I said, I think they're dirty. They are dirty. So that's not helping a whole lot. Well, I've been working this morning on the computer. So anyway, I got to work. I'm going to do this live and chit chat with whoever comes in, and then I'm going to go right back to work. So I have a lot of other stuff I need to be getting done, but I got to work. So like in between, I try to get up and do a little. I've got the dryer going right now, which they should be hanging on the line because it's so hot outside, but I didn't want to go out there and face the heat to hang the clothes. So they're in the dryer. But I have, oh my goodness, I have cabbage, potatoes, onions, excuse me, squash. I put up squash last night. There's two more over there. I've done some kraut the last few days. I've done kraut, but there's still like three more cabbages. And then the potatoes, they're just kind of drying in the floor over there, and the onions. And I did put up some onions last night. Um, and I've done some fermented onions, and I've done a video on that. So I'm gonna put that video up later today, maybe about the fermented onions. And then I've got a tour of my garden. I kind of done a tour and put it up, but I didn't tour the garden. I just showed what we found. That last video was what we found up at the front of the property, the wild bergamot, and I was excited about that. But I've done an actual tour of the herb garden, showing everything in it and all, and I've done that as a separate video because it was so long. I split it. All right, let me put these back on and see if I can read. I got a few things planted earlier, but I'm inside for the day. Yeah, you have to be when it's this humid out, don't you? My garden is so late being planted this year. Well, we got some early stuff in, and as I'm taking stuff out, I'm going to replant. I already replanted something. I forgot what it was. Hmm. Well, I forgot what it was. It was an herb, though. It was herbs. I took something out, some kale. I had some kale in my herb garden, and that got gone. Got too hot for that, and it bolted. And I fed the rest of it to the rabbits and planted some herbs there. And I don't remember what I planted there, but I also replanted some yarrow. I had some yarrow that only one little piece lived. It kind of died out, and one little piece lived. So I planted some more yarrow around it. I haven't planted any fall crops yet. I'm going to wait, I think, a little bit on that. I don't know. I might check and see when I need to plant those fall crops, but I'm going to do some more cabbage, I think, maybe. And we'll do turnip greens for sure later. My herbs are everywhere. Some are in the backyard, some in the front yard, some on the porch in pots, and some in the garden. Yep. Yeah. I kind of do that too. I have some on the front porch. The front porch. There's the front door. I have some on the front porch here in like a. It's kind of like one of those green stalk, whatever you call them, those planters, green stalk or whatever they're called. This is a generic one, but it's a nice one. It's a nice big one, but it's only like 6 tall, I think. It's only about yay tall, and but it's wide. It's wide, and one of my daughters got me that for, I think, Christmas or something. Not this year, last year. I had herbs on the porch in it last year, and it done really good. And so they're like, I put like kitchen herbs in it, so I can just reach out there and grab a piece off of some of that, you know. So I had some parsley and basil and thyme. You know, I can't think of what else. Parsley, basil, thyme. I think it's got some lavender in it this year. But anyway, so I've enjoyed just getting that off the porch like that. It's been great. Um, Hey, Barb, bins over acres. I bought a whole case of those from the Dollar Tree. I had some Dollar Tree ones, and I used them. They're not bad, but they were smaller. This one's good and wide. It's got good wide holes. You know, holes where you plant are good and big. I like that. I had never had the green stalk kind. They may be the same way, but they look narrow to me. Mine's pretty wide, so I really like it. I don't know what brand it is. It's just, it's not a green stalk. I'm not sure what brand it is. I can't remember, but it's a nice one. So anyway, yes, it's really hot here and humid. Oh, it's so humid out there, you can't breathe. And Lee had to go in early. He may get off early. He's liable to get off work before we get done here. He went in. He had to be there at 4 o'clock this morning because he pours concrete, and I guess they're trying to beat the heat. So this time of year, when it's so hot and humid, they have to go in really early because people start pouring real early before it gets too hot. But then he gets off earlier, so he don't mind it. I think he likes getting off earlier like that. So He doesn't really mind too bad. And so I've just been in here working. I've been out a couple of times dealing with animals. I have to tell y'all a funny story. Um, so, um, so I also I've done a couple of videos that I'm gonna put up. I'm gonna put up one this afternoon and then maybe one tomorrow. I kind of done a huge long thing and then decided to split it up because it was so long. And instead of just cutting and cropping and not using it all, I split it up into a couple different videos. And then the onions, the fermented onions. I'm not going to tell you too much about that because I want you to watch the video. But I'll just say they're delicious. I want $100 off a green stalk, but still can't afford them. They just want too much money. I don't know how much they are, but if it's $100 off and you still can't afford it, that's pretty high. I don't know how much they are. I'm sure this one wasn't that expensive. It's not a brand name green stalk, but it's really not. It's not as tall as those, but I like it. I've used it and it's held up great. I've used it last year, and I've been planting just mostly annual type herbs in it that I can just walk out there and grab and throw in food, kind of a kitchen garden type. And then in my herb garden, you'll see that video. I've got a lot of herbs. I'm really trying to do more herbs in my herb garden because for a while I just had a few herbs that I'd started in it. So I was planting other stuff in it too. And I'd done those great big cabbages last year, was in my herb garden. And tomatoes, I do tomatoes out there. And like lettuces and kale and spinach, that kind of thing. And then we do most of the stuff up there at his garden, the big vegetables. We've really done good this year with squash. Last couple of years we had squash bugs. And yes, I probably should knock on wood because so far this year we haven't had any, and we've gotten a lot of good squash out of there. So I'm so happy with that. I've been putting that up left and right. We just have one zucchini plant, but he won't eat zucchini. So it's just me eating zucchini. And I've been making zucchini lasagna. Oh my gosh, because I'm on the, low carb. I'm on the low carb, high protein that my doctor put me on. And so I hadn't had spaghetti or anything with pasta in a long while. Probably in 5 or 6 years, I've only had very, very limited pasta because I was on keto and got off keto. And now I'm on what my doctor put me on is low carb, high protein, but you don't want me to have all the fat. So anyway, so I done the zucchini lasagna. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I made a big pan of it and I've ate on it like a week. I don't get tired of anything. I can eat on something for a week if it's good like that. I can. Anyway, Lee can't. So let's see. Let me read. We are 2 miles from river flooding here in Iowa. Our floor drains have nowhere to drain with our drainage ditches full. Oh, wow. Cabbage likes being near herbs. The herbs help keep the bugs off of them. Well, last year I had those great big cabbages and I didn't have a problem with the cabbage worms. And they looked good. And those things got huge, but it might have been in the fall because I can't remember. I need to go back and look. We don't do as good in the spring with cabbage as we do the fall. That's why I said I might go ahead and plant some more for the fall because our cabbage does way better in the fall than the spring. But this year, my cabbage is getting ate up by the cabbage worms. And I finally broke down and used 7 Dust. And but I have marigolds all around it. I have the herbs in there. And I always plant a bunch of marigolds around everything because that's supposed to deter the pests. But it doesn't work on cabbage worms. So, just saying. It might work on some of the other pests, but not cabbage worms because they ate my cabbage up this year. I did get some though. I think I got 3 or 4 out of my garden, and then he got 4 or 5 out of his garden. Um, I got the seed packets I won. Oh, thank you so very much. They're a perfect fit for me. I will grow them for sure. Awesome. Awesome. That's good, Carol. I take the lower leaves off of cabbage. It helps keep the slugs. That's what I should have done. Helps keep the slugs and such off of them. That's what I should have done. I'll try that next time. I had never done that unless they start kind of rotting. Sometimes those bigger lower leaves kind of start rotting a little, maybe, and then I'll pull them off. But putting a stocking over the cabbage heads. Put a stocking over the cabbage heads. Might try that because they sure ate them up this year. Last year, they done great. I had those great big ones that I showed and done a video on, and that was in my herb garden. But this year, man, them little cabbage worms ate them up. And then they started eating on my kale, but my kale was already too far gone. I mean, I'd already used a lot of kale, and it was bolting out, and then they started eating it up. So I pulled all that out of there and gave to the rabbits. And I pulled a bunch of where I pulled my cabbage heads out, and they weren't real big this year. Good size. I mean, they weren't tiny. They were good size, but last year I had those great big ones. We didn't have any great big ones, but last year that might have been in the fall. I need to look that up. We really do better with cabbage in the fall. Hey, Kathy. I hope you're doing good. I hadn't talked to you in a day or two. I hope you're doing good. I'm just talking about how hot it is here. It's been so humid. Oh, it's so humid out there. And Lee had to go in. Of course, he's having to go in really early so that they can pour concrete early and then get off early. So it's like 98 and just nasty humid. I walked out there a couple of times. So I was going to tell y'all about the animals. Let me get to that. And I'm not even talking about healthy eating. I'm supposed to be talking about healthy eating. But anyway, so let's see, where was I getting to? The cabbage worms. I had cabbage worms, and it might have been fall I always do better in the fall. So I may do that again and do some fall. So early on, I was so sick all year with all this stuff that had been going on. I was like, I ain't even doing a garden. We'll do what we, a little bit maybe. And my herbs are perennial mostly, so I'd have them. But I told him, I said, don't plant a whole lot because I am not going to feel like putting it up. And now I do. Now I'm better. I still have a few spots. They're not really spots anymore. They're kind of just blurry places in my eyes. So I'm doing much better. My blood pressure's back under control. I'm doing really good. So we've got all this stuff coming in now. I've got potatoes over in the floor, onions over there in the floor, cabbage, squash I've been dealing with, and herbs. I've got some, just got dried. I just got some echinacea dried, and I'm going to chop that up for tea. And I'm thinking about making some tincture. And also I had read about the roots. You can use the roots and make a tincture. And I've never done that before, but my echinacea's taken over a huge spot. So I may dig up some of them roots and go ahead and do a tincture with that or something. Hey, Patty. I saw Patty come in. Taking the lower leaves. I think I read that. Taking the lower leaves off also makes the cabbage form a bigger head. I did not know that. Good, but I can't go outside. It's too hot. It is hot here too. I know it's got to be hot there, but it's humid. We got the high heat index is really high, and you just can't breathe out there hardly. But let me tell, I said hi to Patty. Yep. Let me tell y'all, this is so funny. I was talking about I did have to go out and deal with animals. This morning, I had to go feed the animals and I had to water because some of them were out of water and all that. And this happened yesterday, started yesterday. It started yesterday. I was working here on my computer for work, and my boss called. And I start talking to him on the phone, and I stood up and talking to him, and I stood up and looked out my front door here, my front door right here. I looked out, and there was 3 guinea fowl out in my front yard. And I have chickens, but I don't have guineas. And there was 3 guineas out in my front yard, 2 gray ones and a white one. And it took me a second, I knew I hadn't let the chickens out yet. I feed everybody, and then I let the chickens out a little later so that the cats have time to eat before the chickens take it. So I hadn't let the chickens out yet. And I looked out there, and there's 3 guineas out there. And I was like, what? Whoa. And I had to look real hard and like, what the heck? And it shocked me for a minute. But it was funny. I was watching them, they were funny. And I know over behind us, this way, but there's a cornfield. There's a whole big cornfield in between us and them. There is some people over behind us that they have chickens, ducks, geese, turkeys, guinea. They have all the fowl. That's all they have. I don't think they're raising anything else but fowl, but they have all the everything. They have ducks and geese and chickens, and I know they have guineas and turkeys. So they had to have come from over there, but they had to go all the way across this cornfield to get here. And I watched them. I took a couple pictures of them, and I took a video of them and sent to Lee. And by the time he got home, from work was about 3:30. He didn't see them, and I went out there looking and couldn't find them. But they were there like all day because I kept watching them. I kept looking out and seeing them, and they were hanging out with my chickens, and I kept watching them. So by the time he got home, they were gone, and we didn't see them. And then, so I thought, well, maybe they went back home, right? Maybe they went all the way back across the cornfield and went back home, I guess. And this morning, I got up and went out to feed the animals, and there they were again. They're still out there. I think they're still out there now. I haven't looked in about an hour, but yeah, they were out there just walking around eating. Let's see. Hey, Linda. I'm trying to figure out where I got to. I didn't know that either. Okay. Guineas will eat the ticks. Yeah, they're just foraging. Well, they foraged a long way, let me tell you, because it's a whole cornfield in between us and them. And so I hope they go back home. If not, I may have to call the guy and say, I think your guineas are over here. But I like watching them. It was funny to watching them. Coming in late. So now you have guineas. Yeah. Share custody of guineas. Yeah, I guess so. Lisa, we don't want no guineas. We had guineas a long time ago when we first got, it's not when we first got chickens. We had chickens for a while. And then we tried guineas because somebody was telling me that they were very protective and would protect my chickens and ate a lot of ticks and everything. So we got them. We got 6 guineas. They were so loud. I mean, they drove me nuts. They would go around this house outside just screaming and hollering and just drove me nuts. And we finally gave them away. I just couldn't deal with them. I finally gave them away. And then, we tried lots of different things. We tried goats, and that just wasn't for us. And, so we're good with rabbits and chickens. And every once in a while, maybe raise a pig, We haven't done that in a long time, but I would like to. But anyway, right now we just had the rabbits and the chickens, and now we have some neighbor guineas that like our yard better than their yard, I guess. Anyway, um, okay, I read everything. So that was fun, and I saw them this morning, and I texted Lee and said, "Well, the guineas are back." So I don't know if they went home or not. I can't believe they went home all the way across that cornfield and came back this morning. So I'm thinking that maybe they were out there somewhere and we just didn't see them when he got home. They might have wandered back out in the cornfield or somewhere. The woods, we have woods all around us. And so I hope they're not, if they get in them woods, good luck to them because we have coyotes and foxes and anything that gets out in that woods sometimes gets gone. People used to keep guineas so they know when someone was coming close to the house. Yeah. Well, these have been quiet. I hadn't heard these at all. So they're happy. They like my yard. They're happy. I haven't heard them at all. Not at all. Bet they were roosted up in a tree close. So they roost up in trees. I did not know that. The ones we had before went in the coop with the chickens. Now these don't. These have just wandered around in the yard eating. You can tell they're eating, busy eating. That's probably how they got all the way over here because they're so busy eating that they didn't pay no attention to where they was going, I guess. Let's see. When we had guineas, they rooted on top of the chicken pen at night. Roosted. I knew what you meant. I knew what I meant. Roosted. I've only had experience with them one time and can't stand the screeching. Even though I have macaws, I can deal with that much better. Yeah, they were loud. The six we had they drove me nuts. Now these I haven't heard these at all. I just looked out and there they was. And I kept watching different times during the day. I'd go look out and watch them a few minutes. So anyway, watching on TV and typing on my phone. Macaws, yeah. So anyway, so that was interesting watching these guineas show up. And I guess if they keep staying here, I'll have to call the guy and say, if you want your guineas back, you need to come get them. And if you don't want them back, and he might not want them back, if you don't want them back, they're fine. They can stay here no matter what Lee Pearson says. Our chickens would roost in trees. That's one reason we kept them in a pen. Well, I only one that gets up high is our rooster. We have one rooster. He gets up high. He'll get up on top of the coop. But the rest of them don't even bother. I haven't seen the rest of them get up anywhere. But he has been nice. He's been a good rooster I know I've had him probably a year. He's been great. He hasn't bothered me or nothing. But I went out there the other day. And I guess he was protecting the chickens and he thought that I was doing something because it was close to dark and I was trying to get them to go on up because I wanted to go ahead and get them closed up. We let them free range during the day when we're here. And I wanted them to go ahead and go up and I was out there kind of shooing them in and he got me good. And boy, now I've been taking a stick out there with me, a big old stick. And I'm like, buddy, I'm not having that crap. I'm not having it. I know they're protecting their flock, but I ain't having it. And so I knew though that I was shooing them up and he took that the wrong way. I looked out the back window one morning and a peacock decided, never did find out where it came from. Wow. Well, Kathy, I don't know. I think Kathy still has a turkey that showed up at our house, a white turkey that showed up at Kathy's house. I think she still has it. She can tell us. Older roosters get more aggressive in protecting hens and every other way. Yep. Hey, Patty, the other Patty. Worked outside this morning from 6 to 10. Too hot. Yep. came in and passed out. Yes, girl. That's why I was talking about earlier. It's so hot. And I know you're not that far from us. So I know you probably have the same weather. It is just so humid out there you can't breathe hardly. It's just it's a high heat index. I think it was supposed to get up to 98 with the high heat index, but I didn't look to see what the temperature was. I still have Jenny. I haven't called her yet. Well, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably let her be. I don't know. Um, I would like to have turkeys, but I don't want to. I don't want a bunch of pets. I don't want to. I mean, and I probably she's pretty. Jenny's pretty, and since you just have that one, I would like to get turkeys and raise them and eat them. But if I just had that one pretty turkey, I think I'd probably let her be. I love my new rooster I got last year. It is still a sweet one. Grateful after having several mean ones. Yes, I've had to. I just can't stand a mean rooster that you have to worry about him coming up behind you and getting you from the back. I can't do it. It drives me nuts. I'll get rid of them. I've gotten rid of several, and this one had been good for like a year. But and I know I was shooing the chickens in, so I'm guessing that's all it was. And he got me. He got me good. And now I carry a big old stick out there. But if he does it like, if he just gets me for no reason, he's gone, and he's pretty. But I can't deal with that. Your humidity sounds like what it was the last weekend in July in Iowa. We ended up with a heat index set the heat in the shade 2100 13 degrees. um, let's see. She is beautiful, but she is very territorial about sitting on eggs. Hey, Lana. And there's Shelly. I carry an old broom to deal with my rowdy rooster. Lana, I know you ain't. I know that's why you're watching. You ain't outside because it's too hot. It's too hot to be out there, ain't it? Um, so I guess everybody's hot. Brenda said it was hot up there, and she's up north of us. So, and Shelly, I'm glad you come in. Shelly said she was uh, talking to Flint most days at noon because he's off working somewhere. And so they get to talk on his lunch break at noon. So I'm glad you got to come in, Shelly. We have a broody chicken, same one that has hatched out one baby for the last 2 years. Wonder if we will get one baby this year too. I kind of try to let mine, if they get broody, I try to let them go ahead and sit and see what happens. And sometimes it works and sometimes it don't, whatever. I just let them try and instead of fighting with them over it. But a lot of times it don't work out. That was 113 degrees in the shade. Okay. I thought it must have been something different. 113 degrees in the shade. Whew. I had to come in. Chip is out there helping cut a tree down for a neighbor. Oh, it's too hot. Too hot for all that. Talk to them to let them know I'm not going to hurt them. You talking about the roosters? Flint just sent me pics of a bunch of pops for some reason. Wonder if it was a mistake. He sent it to you instead of somebody else. That's funny. Well, I was saying Lee may come in any time because he had to be at work. He had to be there at 4:00 this morning because of the heat. They're pouring real early, but then he usually gets off a little earlier when they're doing that. So he likes getting off a little earlier, but I couldn't be there at 4:00. He had to get up at 3 because it's a 30-minute drive. So he gets up at 3, 30 minutes to get ready. Excuse me. And then 30-minute drive. So I can't do it. It's just raining. He may get rained out. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we had rain and then now nothing. But now it hasn't hurt anything yet because I guess we had so much rain that underneath the ground was still wet, and I haven't had to water because it has stayed good. Even though now it's dry and hot, but I guess underneath is still um, fairly wet. Trying to watch, chat, and text Flint. So I ain't talked much about the healthy eating, but because I got off on the guineas in my yard. Lana, I don't know if you were in here when I was talking about that, but I looked out yesterday and there was 3 guinea fowl out in my front yard, and I was like, "What?" And so they had to come all the way across the cornfield from the neighbor over that way. It has a bunch of different stuff, turkeys and geese and everything. And so they had to come from over there, but we thought they went back because we didn't see them after Lee got home about 3:30. We didn't see them no more, and I thought they were gone. But this morning they're back out there. I was like, oh my goodness. My raised beds are super dry, and I just watered. I haven't watered my raised beds. I mean, they have still done good. I'm probably going to have to. I know I'm going to have to. I don't know when we're supposed to get rain, but it's pretty dry now. I've had to water almost every day. I'm trying to put down mulch around plants to help keep moisture in. Too hot. Yeah, it's really hot, but we did get it was getting dry, and then we had a 1 day rain. I don't remember what day that was. Lana might know. Lana lives here. Um, it was getting really dry, and then 1 day, and she might not even got that rain. She probably did, but maybe not. She lives next town over. But anyway, it was getting pretty dry, and I was worried about my pepper plants. My pepper plants were getting a little dry. And then that 1 day we had just enough rain that perked my pepper plants back up. So I didn't water. I have started digging for the move. Digging up some of your stuff to take, put them in pots and take them with you. We've had to water all the potted plants. Yeah, I did have to water some potted stuff. I had 20-minute sprinkle a couple of days ago. Yep, yeah, that's what we had. It was just enough to perk those pepper plants back up. Yeah, she's going to have a good time moving all them plants. I don't know how many she's planning on moving, but that'll be a job. That'll be a job. But anyway, so I guess the scariest thing I've ever had to do. Yeah, yeah. So I guess I was talking about my zucchini. I made my it was so good. I made zucchini lasagna out of some of the zucchini we got. And so I have been learning how to make stuff low carb, for my diet. For my doctor put me on this, and I'm doing good. My blood pressure's down. The only thing that's still not doing real great is my spots in my eyes, but they're just blurry spots now. They're not dark spots. They're just blurry spots. So they're fading away. And that was what the eye doctor thought they would do. So anyway, I'm still doing the low carb, high protein. So I'm finding ways to have good food that I want, that I like, and and make it low carb. So zucchini lasagna, it was so good. It is so good. I made a big old pot. This is the second pot I made. I made a big old pan of it, and I ate on it for like a week. And then the other day, I made another big pan of it, and so I'm still eating on that. um, your raised beds are larger. Mine are mostly tires. They're having to be watered every day. I saw something on Facebook about your spalathus. is a South American plant I have to water 3 times a day. Wow. Maybe that's why mine didn't live. I tried that and mine didn't live. Maybe that's why I didn't know that. I didn't know it had to be watered so much. Cool tip for potted plants. Buy some new baby diapers, pull the insides out, and put them in the bottom of a pot. It has those water crystals that plump up. Huh. Well, now that's a new one I haven't heard, Lana. Huh. That's interesting. I made zucchini fries a couple of days ago. That sounds good. I have 2 zucchini plants, but still no fruit. I need to fertilize. Think a boar may have gotten to them. See, that's what the last several years I've had the dang squash bugs and borers on mine and hadn't done good at all. But this year we haven't had any at all. They're doing really good, but we only planted 1 zucchini. I was afraid. I just was afraid that we would have all that. So I planted. We planted 1 zucchini plant and 4 yellow squash. And because he don't eat zucchini, he'll eat some yellow squash fried. He'll eat it fried. But I like to make my mom's squash casserole is made with the yellow squash, and my kids love that. So every time we have a get together, my kids want my mom's squash casserole, and so I cut those up and put them in the freezer and make squash casserole with them. But the zucchini I've just been eating myself because he won't eat it. But it that one plant I've had 6 nice. We don't let them get too big, but I've had 6 nice zucchini off of that one plant. And then the yellow squash we've done had a bunch of, and I've put them in the freezer. I still have not gotten the first zucchini on my plants, but the vine is crazy big and plenty of male flowers. I have seen female flowers, but they don't take. Make your tires a lighter color other than black to reflect some heat and not absorb it, maybe. This is the first year in years I have been getting a ton of squash and zucchini, but I succession plant too. Yeah, that's good, Lana. See, we have the same, pretty much same weather, so it may be some of this weather that has helped us with the squash and zucchini. Linda says, I did the baby diaper thing once, but had too much ground to cover. Thanks for the reminder now that I'm down to my raised beds. Excuse me. Lana's mom has a recipe for chocolate zucchini bread. I have seen that. Maybe on YouTube or something, but I've never tried it. Another good idea. This is my first year for doing a fully raised bed garden. I haven't had zucchini bread in a long time. Sounds so good. Chocolate one even better. Yeah, I love zucchini bread. I haven't had any in a long time either. Of course, I'm on this low carb, but I know I probably could make it with almond flour or something, some of that stuff. I just haven't fooled with it. But this zucchini lasagna is so good. I'm stuck on that right now. And I can eat when I get something good like that I really like, I can eat on it a week. I can have it for lunch and supper for a week. Lee can't do that. Lee won't do that. He's good if he eats any leftovers. He likes to have something different every day. But if it's good, I'm good with it for a week. Anyway, so I've been doing really good on that, and I like church. I think I told y'all I didn't go live last week. It was the week before. Last week I had vacation Bible school stuff to deal with and work. I got to work when we get off here, but I'm working part of Monday, part of Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday I work all day. but at least I'm working all from home now. I'm doing it all from home now, so it's wonderful. So I can work a little and get up and go do something, you know. I can work a little and put some laundry in, or work a little and do some dishes, and work a little and go to the garden. But I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, I told y'all 2 weeks ago about on Wednesday night at church. Wednesday night at my church, we eat every Wednesday night. Every Wednesday night we eat, and these women can cook good. There's always a bunch of good food, and it's really hard to diet, really hard. So, Atlanta's one of them. Atlanta's one of them, and I have really been trying to learn how to take something myself that I can have, or at least take my dessert. I've been at least taking my dessert because they have some wonderful desserts, and I'm always tempted, but I take my dessert, and we always tell what we're having ahead of time. So if I know they're having something I can eat, I'll just eat that. But if they're having nothing I can have, I'll take my own. So it's really been a struggle with Wednesday night for my diet, but I've learned to do it. And I think so altogether, I've lost about 15 pounds since I went in the hospital. Since I went in the hospital, when was that? I can't remember when that was, but I had all this going on really bad. Main thing was my blood pressure, I think, and stress. But since I went to the hospital, it's been about 3 months, probably about 3 months. And my doctor put me on this low carb, high protein diet, and I've lost 15 pounds. So, so I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling good. Let's see. Let me get back to this, figure out where I was. Baby diaper, pantry, zucchini bread. As I get older, I like savory foods better than sweet foods. Oh, me too. I really do. I don't have a sweet tooth, but the thing that gets me is usually like garlic bread and stuff like that. The smells, the smells of garlic bread and stuff like that. And pasta. I love pasta. So making this zucchini lasagna was wonderful. And I know you can make zucchini noodles, and I have one of the little things that you twist it in there and make zucchini noodles. I have that. I just don't ever use it. I used it when I first got it years ago, but I haven't used it this time. I need to do that too. She got the chocolate zucchini bread recipe from Travis Holder's aunt back in something. She also was my Girl Scout leader. Huh. Wow. Teresa isn't in work jail anymore. Yeah. Lately, most foods just sound or taste appealing. Don't sound or taste appealing anymore. Kind of bored with food. You have to be the one to bring a healthy food. I'm sure others will feel the same way you do. Yeah. And I did. We had sandwiches, and I took some low carb bread sandwiches, and I think a couple of people tried them, but I saw them throw them away, so they didn't really eat it. It was turkey and pepper jack cheese with a little mayo, just a little mayo on keto bread. And I think I was the only one that actually ate it. um, let's see. I guess I've turned the opposite. I'm liking more sweets, mostly fruit though. Oh, peaches. I love peaches. Peaches are nice right now. Yep. Congrats to feeling better and losing weight. Thank you. And it does feel a lot better. Of course, getting my blood pressure just under control probably felt a lot better. And then, gosh, I just had so much going on. It was crazy. And I'm just feeling so much better. And just not having the carbs makes me feel better and helps I have rheumatoid arthritis. And they told me that like 7 years ago and wanted me to go to a rheumatologist, and I never did. But they gave me a pain pill, and I used the pill for about a year, and then I quit the pain pill because I didn't want to have all that, chemical stuff. And so I've been doing like wild lettuce or something like that. but I hadn't, but I can tell by what I eat. I can tell if I eat a lot of carbs, I start hurting worse, or sugar and carbs, I start hurting worse. I better get back up here. Let me get up here and read this. Oops, it's starting to fly on by. Think the heat takes the hunger out of us. Yeah, Mama was like that, sweets all the way. I had my kids this past weekend, made homemade Native American fry bread. Lee likes that. Lee makes fry bread. I love fried fish, but last night I made David cobia, made with lemon, basil, and butter. That sounds good. Then once it was cooked, I squeezed lemon juice over the top. Oh, that sounds good, Kathy. My husband is the sweet tooth. I usually am more savory. I will be missing all the fresh fish my son gives me. Yes, you will. Travis Holder's aunt lived in Indianapolis, where I grew up. Small world. Yep. As I got older, I got addicted to salty, crunchy things. I always hated salty stuff before. I'm a kind of a salty, crunchy person. And I'm not supposed to have any salt now, but I had to have just a little bit. She told me to do like garlic and onion powder and get some of the Mrs. Dash, which I got, but every once in a while, no, not every once in a while. Most of the time, I do just a little bitty bit of the salt. um, hey, Prep for Eternity Homestead. Don't know if that's Jen or Brother Donnie or both, but hello. Lana, I haven't made Indian bread in a long time. My family loves what we call Navajo tacos. Navajo tacos. Huh. Lee would probably like that. Hey, Christy Betts. Have you tried pasta made with garbanzo beans? I haven't. It's really good. It's good garbanzo bean pasta. I have not tried that. I'll have to check into that. Carbohydrates are sugars. The body uses sugar immediately, but carbs are released as sugar slowly. Just something I learned in my cycling years. So yeah, so same thing, right? So sugar, it's sugary stuff, or anything. I say carbs and sugar, carbs or sugar, any of that makes me hurt, makes my rheumatoid arthritis act up so bad. And when I'm not eating all that stuff, I might hurt a little now and then, but mostly not. Mostly I'm good. So when all this was going on, I was stressing out ever since my mom passed. And all this year, up until recently, I wasn't worrying about any kind of diet. I was eating carbs and sugar, whatever I wanted. And my blood pressure had got up real high, and I was hurting so bad and everything, and I can tell so much difference. We got my blood pressure under control. I haven't been eating carbs, and even like, I don't know if you can tell, like when I'm eating carbs and sugar, my little fingers look like veiny sausage. They'll be fat little boogers that look like veiny sausage. And now, I don't know if you can tell, but they're not. They are. See all the loose skin? Of course, then you get loose skin. You lose weight, you get loose skin then. But anyway, they are so much better. It's just so much better. And even if I don't lose a lot of weight, if I feel better, that's the goal. That's the goal, is to feel better. Even if I don't lose a ton of weight here where I'd like to, but it'll be the last to go, I know. If you use real salt from Utah, it is more mineral based and doesn't mess with your blood sugar as much. Patty, my doctor don't agree with that because that's what I use. And I told my doctor when she told me not to use salt, I said, I said, I use Redmond's real salt. And she said, I don't care what you use, salt raises your blood pressure. And so I don't know. I was going to check into that because that's kind of what I thought. I was doing better because it was Redmond's real salt. And she said, no, salt is salt. It might have some minerals in it and be good for you, but it still raises your blood pressure. That's what she told me. I need to look into that because maybe she doesn't know what Redmond's real salt is. Anyway, the heat's making it hard to want to eat. Yeah. Yeah, it does. Love Redmond salt. Yeah, I do too. That's usually about all I use. Now I've got a bunch of the pink Himalayan salt too, just because I was buying that up from Aldi's. Aldi's had the bags of pink salt for the dollar 25. Still does probably. I just hadn't been there in a while, but I bought a bunch of that up. So I try to use some of that now and then. But I love the Redmond's real salt because of the minerals and everything. But my doctor said, no, don't care. It still raises your blood pressure. Don't use it. So I've been using just a little bit now and then, but not a whole lot. And I used a lot. I like a lot of salt. So I was using a lot of salt. So maybe that was the point was if you're using a lot of salt, no matter what it is, it's not good. Let's see. Let me get back up here. The worst thing about losing weight is all the loose skin. The real salt raises it less. Not all doctors look at the whole picture. I try and fall. Wait. I try and fail to stop eating carbs. I don't like sweets much, but things like low sodium potato chips, everything in moderation. My joints and my fingers are knotty and cramped, not necessarily swollen. Well, mine, my joints swell up too, and knot up because it's rheumatoid arthritis. That's what it does. But I'm telling you, I had this finger. How can I show this? This knuckle right here was swollen and hurting bad, and it has gone down even and not hurting. And I'm amazed because that was really starting to hurt and bother me. Is this knuckle right here was swollen and red and hurting so bad. Um, Mushroom coffee helped my arthritis a lot. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to plant a garden. I use mushroom coffee. That's all I'm drinking now is mushroom coffee. So that may help. That may help. I don't know. Hopefully it's helping. I was trying to get off some of the caffeine. And now I do a little coffee now and then, but mostly I'm doing the mushroom. I've got like 3 different brands of mushroom coffee I kind of rotate up. Use the pink salt, but worries me that it comes from other countries. I think that may be true for some people, but I don't think salt raises everyone's blood pressure, especially if it's real salt. It doesn't bother mine at all. Well, that's what I kind of thought, but my doctor didn't think that way. So I'm just limited to it. I don't use much. And I did use a lot. So I love salty stuff. So I was using a lot of salt, probably more than I should. So I'm just using just a pinch enough to make it not so bland. And then I use some garlic and maybe Mrs. Dash. I'm not thrilled with the Mrs. Dash. You might do some research on the salt thing. Not all salt is the same and does often don't do research. Doctors often don't do research. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think I'm going to check into that more because she may not understand real salt, Redmond's real salt. You know what I mean? I might have said real salt and she was thinking, so real salt. She may not know. And I didn't argue with her. I just let her tell me. Powdered kelp adds a salty taste with much less salty side effects. Huh, that's interesting. Hmm. Doctors are smart, but they don't know it all. That's true. That's for sure. Now, listen, I wouldn't even go to the doctor. Listen, I hate going to the doctor. I have what I've heard called white coat syndrome. I hate going to the doctor. That raises my blood pressure just to go to the doctor. But I knew this I had to go. I was sick. I was sick for a while, and I knew. I mean, I was so sick. I was just walking around like a zombie in a daze, and I knew I was something was bad off, and I wasn't fixing it myself. I was doing things I thought might help, but I wasn't fixing it myself. So I ended up having to go, and I had to. There was just no choice no more. I had to go and see what she said, and I decided I was going to have to just follow her. And I really like this doctor, and she explains things really well, and she's got a good bedside manner, and she explains. She doesn't just say. She usually explains. Now the salt, I didn't argue with her, but I am going to look into that and maybe whatever. But I've trusted her more than I've probably trusted any doctor in a long, long, long time. So anyway, um, let me go back up. They don't have the time to do research. I agree with that. Sometimes I crave salty Lay's potato chips. I used Parmesan cheese instead of salt and butter. Don't need hardly any to flavor things. I love Parmesan cheese. That's a very good idea, but I don't like the one in a can. I don't like the canned Parmesan cheese. I like the real Parmesan cheese in the bag. Hello, Scott. Nutritional yeast has been good on food for me to replace salty desire. I have never tried that. Hmm. I like these ideas. Parmesan cheese and nutritional yeast. My daughter used that one time for something. I can't remember what. She might have been pregnant and had to have it. I can't remember. Roasted dandelion root coffee is a great coffee substitute. Yeah, I also get the tea chino coffee, which is dandelion and chicory. Now I'm going to do my own chicory because if y'all saw in that last video I posted, we've got a whole bunch of chicory up there, and I'm going to dig up some of it and do some of my own chicory coffee because there's a whole bunch up there. I hadn't done it yet because I didn't want to dig a bunch of it up and it not come back or something. And I don't know if it works that way. It may start from seed. It may do from seed. I don't know. But I didn't want to mess up and not have. Now there's a whole bunch up there, and I feel comfortable digging some of it up. There's a lot of rheumatic disease in my family. Doctor thinks rheumatic disease is what caused my platelet disorder in the past. The simple fix to everything is to keep moving and eat only when you actually need to. If there is something preventing you to move, then pray for healing through the grace of Jesus. I did a lot of praying too, Shelley. That is part of this, and I praise the Lord, and should have mentioned that already. Thank you. But I did a lot of praying through this time when I felt so bad. I have done a lot of praying for the Lord to help me feel better and help me figure out and help the doctor figure out what was wrong so I could get better. So thank you for mentioning that because I should have mentioned that. I did a lot of praying. Haven't seen you in a long time. I think I might have white coat phobia. Yep. Don't like to go to the doctor either. Yeah. I have to step away from the world from time to time and get back on the right path for my life. Me and you both. Yeah, nobody likes going to the doctor, I guess. And I just had to go get to the dentist. I had a molar that was coming in and pushing on the next tooth. It's been a long time. It's been doing that a long time, but it got unbearable. And I finally went to the doctor 2 weeks ago and got this molar pulled, and it is still sore. It's still kind of sore up in there, and I can't chew. That's the side I chew hard stuff on, like that's the side I chew meat on and stuff, and it's still sore. I can't chew on that side. I'm having to chew on the other side, and it's really hard. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to chew on the other side. Try it sometime. It's hard. um, let's see. Somebody come in, Nancy. Hey, Nancy, our treasured home. Everyone really late didn't get the notification, of course. Smoky Mountain Blessed, hello. Let's see. We've been talking about the heat, how hot it is here. It's so humid, and we've been talking about eating healthy and low salt and all kinds of things. I'm going to make sticky notes. Yeah, they gave some good advice up here about low salt. Patty was talking about the Parmesan cheese. I really like that. And then the other Patty was talking about nutritional yeast instead of salt. But I'm going to look into if my Redmond's real salt. I don't think it's as bad as the doctor thinks it is, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to check that out. Let's see. Neat to try making your own chicory drink. I would like to do that. Well, he planted wildflowers up here in front of our property. Just planted a whole spot of wildflowers. One reason to cut down on our mowing time, and another reason to kind of bring in pollinators, and a lot of it was kind of herbal stuff, and we like to forage and herbal stuff, and so a lot of it was wild, like the chicory. And I can't remember what else, but for 2 years it was really a good spot. But now it's taken over by the weeds, and there's not a lot out there, but the chicory has prevailed. There's a lot of chicory out there. And then what we found in the video was the wild bergamot was a surprise. And then there's a lot of wild lettuce out there we're using. Let's see. I have a tooth pulled, and it was a challenge to learn to chew on the other side. Yes, it is. You don't think that it is, but it is a challenge because I chew everything on this side. I guess everything. I don't know. Until now, I didn't realize. And now that I can't chew on this side, I've been having to focus to chew on this side. And it's hard. Sometimes the stress of having an ill family member will throw your health out of whack. Yep. Especially if you have autoimmune problems. Yeah. It sure did. I guess that and the stress of work, and I don't know. I was just under a lot of stress, and it done some damage to my body. That's for sure. Of course, I'm 60 now. That don't help. Let's see. My magnesium is low, and that is it. Everything else is fine. That's good. Yeah, we were talking about my wandering guinea fowl. I looked out the door yesterday, and there was 3 guinea fowl out in my front yard. I was just kind of shocked. It kind of took me by surprise. But the neighbor over a cornfield away has all that stuff, and we just have chickens and rabbits. And so these 3, and then we thought they might have went home because they weren't out here last night, but they're back this morning. So last I looked, they were out there. It was pretty funny. I've been watching them. Dealing with my mother-in-law and my husband's issues has been pretty stressful. Yeah. Yeah, we can get stressed. I mean, everything, we get stressed out over a lot of stuff, and I don't know. It doesn't, it's not good for you. That's what I'm trying to say. It is not good for us to be so stressed out, it's not healthy and damages our body. It really does. And you don't think about it, but it really does. And sometimes it's hard to get rid of that stress, but We have to figure out ways to work around it and get rid of it, or work around it and calm ourselves. And prayer is probably, I would say, the biggest most helpful thing is prayer. Um, let's see. Flower was beautiful. Oh yes, the the wild bergamot. It looks a lot like and it is in that same same thing. It's a type of that, is what I gather. Um, Patty, Patty told me some about it, about this. The Tinker's wife, Patty, the Tinker's wife, told me some about this wild bergamot, and when I first saw it, I thought it was just a different color bee balm, but then I wasn't sure, so I looked it up, and it is a type of bee balm, and so it's beautiful. It is very pretty. The only bee balm I had seen was red. So bee balm looks just about like this, only mine's red. The only bee balm I've ever had was like this but red. And so I wasn't real sure. And I looked it up and it said wild bergamot. And I've heard of bergamot and have used bergamot essential oil. So I was tickled to have that out there. And there's 3 big patches of it, 3 good size bunches of it. So I was tickled with that. My D was low, but it was coming out of winter. Yep. You see, I had that. That was part of this too, I think. I was taking some D, but I think it's probably hard to take enough D and not get out in the sunshine. And that I didn't feel like getting out. So that was part of it too, I think. Watch the 60 thing. I'll be 61 in September. I'll be 61 in October. So I'm only a month behind you. 59 and hanging on. Yeah. Especially if that family member has dementia. Yeah. Still a youngin', Kathy. I took some squash and wild blackberries to a couple of more elderly than me. Everyone cast it all on Jesus. We can't handle it, so just really cast it on him. Means you do not stress it, because stress is very bad on your health. It is, absolutely. That's one reason I'm working from home all the time now instead of going to the office. I can work from home and do a little and walk away from it, and come back and do a little more and walk away from it and go do something else. Or if I get stressed over it, I go walk to my herb garden. And that's a big part of my healing, was de-stressing some. And I let everybody know I'm fixing to de-stress. Y'all ain't stressing me no more. I'm fixing to de-stress. If you hear me saying no, that's why. And I have had to learn to say no to a lot of things. So, yep. Y'all are young yet. I still can't see myself being this age, but I love hanging out with people in their 90s and 100s. Yep, you can learn a lot from them. Praying is my saving grace to deal with stress, casting all my cares upon the Lord, knowing he cares for me. Yep. That bee balm grows wild everywhere here. You see, we don't have bee balm wild here, but and this is not wild here, I don't think. As the first I'd seen of it, but it's where he planted some wild flowers. So it evidently was in with those wild flower seeds, I would think. Your bergamot is a Monarda species, Monarda fistulosa. We're just babies to most people. You, Kathy, when I started running my family's Ace Hardware Garden Center, I got advice from my customers in their 80s and 90s about what to sell. I grew Jacob Klein bee balm, which is disease resistant, bright red, and gets real tall. That's what I had. Now, I've got a new plant that Lana gave me. Lana gave me just a little cutting, and it's doing really good. It's doing really good. I can't remember what kind it is or what color or anything. I can't remember. I think it's a red one. Don't remember for sure, but what I had before several years ago ended up dying out, and it was red. It was the dark red and bright red, but it died out. But it looked just like this, only red. And so when I saw this, I was like, I first said bee balm, and then I was like, I don't know. Let's see. I am so proud of you for telling people no. I wish I knew how. The word no is your friend. Yeah, I'm trying to learn that, and I'm doing a good job of it at work. So that's the main place. I'm learning to be like, no, I'm gone. I'm done for the day. Don't call me back and ask me to do anything else. I'm done for the day. um, let's see. I'm 68. Post menopause has its own challenges. I'm learning how our brains change with hormones changes. It is incredible what goes on. Yeah. The word no is such a powerful and freeing word. There you go. The word no is a freeing word. 46 and in early menopause, not fun. It seems to be changing my attitude, and I'm not putting up with other people's nonsense. It snuck up on me. My brain keeps trying to think I'm 20 until I can't move in the morning. Yep. Hello, Meredith. Alfonso. Alfonso. I was trying to read all that, and then I got to Alfonso. Starting to cough a little. I am way over my hour, not way over, but over. I think while I was expecting or going through menopause was the only time I was hot natured. Me too. I went through it. Excuse me, y'all. I'm gonna have to take a drink. So, when I turned 40, I had a cyst on my tubes. No, because I already had both tubes out. I'd had my tubes tied and still had another kid, and then they took out. I had a tubal pregnancy that ruptured, and they had to take that out. And then I had another kid, and then they took it all out. So then I had at 40, that was earlier, at 40, then I had a cyst on my ovaries that ruptured and connected to my urinary tract. And they had to take all that out. And they had to scrape my urinary tract to get that off there because it had connected. Because I was dealing with it for a while when I should have went to the doctor and I didn't. And so they had to do all of that. So it threw me into menopause. So at 40, I went through menopause bad, hard, bad, mean, nasty, ugly, hot, everything, all of it in about 8 years. And after about 8 years, then I was fine again. And now I'm cold all the time. Anyway, if y'all wanted to hear all that story, just saying. I feel like a baby to all of you in age, as I'm 45, but I begin menopause at 35, and everything seems to downhill from there unless you call on the Lord for help and guidance. Yeah. That is a big thing. You only realize when you deal with it that you cannot handle people's issues, and you have to walk away more often from them with other older hormones kicking in. Yeah. I don't know what that says, Kathy. Further myrtle? Further myrtle. Oh, yeah. A fertile myrtle. I can't even say it. But yeah, I shouldn't have had, like, I had 3 kids I shouldn't have been able to have anymore. And then I had another one. And then they took more out. And then I had another one. Like, brother guy stopped by. Let's see. Let me go back up here. My menopause was natural at 35. Wow. Hormones are a blessing and a curse. Me too on the surgery and early menopause thing. Yeah. Brother guy stopped by, missed out on some chat. um, I don't know what that says. Fistulae. That's an autoimmune response. I had problems, and so did my sister. 33 and was fully done and gone through menopause. Miracle births. Yeah. I was upset about the last one. Well, I was upset about the last one because they'd done taken everything out, and I had one tube. They'd done taken one whole side out. I had one side left, and they had tied it. So he had tied the one tube, and I still got pregnant because the one tube he didn't do right. Like, seriously? I had one tube and you couldn't get that right? Well, he had 19. I was the 19th case against him. He had so many that we sued as a group. We sued that doctor because he had so many, like, all at one time that had their tubes tied. I only had one tube and he couldn't get that right. But it was a blessing. She was a blessing. I was upset about it until I had her. I was upset about it. But when she was born, as soon as they laid that baby in my arms, didn't care. Didn't care anymore, you know? So, yeah. The mood swings, weight gain, and everything hurts terrible. I didn't think this would happen for years. Yeah. Walk on the wild side. Hello. I guess God really wanted those kids on this earth. Yep. I started perimenopause at 35, pre at 40, and done 5 years later. I was a bear due to hormonal changes in my brain. Mom was the same, but took hormone replacement to reduce it. I started hormone replacement, but I didn't want to. I started it, took it maybe 2 years, and then I quit. And then I got mean again, and my kids asked me to get back on hormones, and I did, and took it for a little bit again. And then I was like, no, I'm going to do this without something. I don't like taking stuff. More fertile than the best maintained garden lawn. Now, what do you don't like? Going to the doctor. Yeah, there you go. That's probably it. I have to walk away for a little bit, but I'll be watching. Mom put her in the shower. Okay. Well, I need to go. It's already 1:22, and I do have to still work. I moved here in 2016, age 51. My cycle stopped. I had no hot flashes or anything before or after. Wow. I just quit, and that was it. Wow, Lana, that's awesome. Meredith, mine was a blessing because I have other aches and pains and hurts that I don't think that monthly thing in menopause I'd be able to handle with it. Yeah. Perimenopause sounds like something you would avoid on a restaurant menu. Well, I have 10, I can't say that. I have tendinopathy pain now. Yeah, that was a blessing for Lana. How do you handle pesky critters stealing from your garden? Well, we have cats and dogs, and we don't have much problem with pests because the dogs chase a lot of stuff off, and We've broke them from getting our chickens, but they will chase squirrels off for sure, and I'm sure rabbits and stuff too, and then the cats. And I don't know, we just hadn't had to deal with all that. Even way out here in the country, we haven't had a whole lot of stuff like that bother our gardens. Howdy, read that. I'm a little over a year in. How much longer is this going to last? Everybody's different, Meredith, because I've talked to people. Well, just like Lana said, she didn't have it hardly at all, and people will say, um, Patty the Tinker's wife up there said 5 years. Mine was 8 years. I mean, 8 years. I went through 8 years of, whew, whew, buddy. But when I was done, I was done. And now, I still maybe every once in a while had a hot flash, but I was done with the, um, I don't know what to call it, anger or mean. I was mean and grouchy and angry for 8 years, and hormones helped a little, helped some. And that's why when I got off of it, my kids asked me to get back on it. They pretty much demanded I get back on it, and I did for a little bit longer, and then I quit again and was like, "No, I'm gonna handle this. I don't like taking medicine." And now here I'm taking blood pressure medicine. I had to. I would like to lose some weight and take some herbal stuff again and get off of it, but I'm not going to take chances on being like that again. So anyway, uh, let me get back over here. Plant enough for you and them both. And somebody said shotgun by line. There are 4 terms: peri, pre, menopause, and postmenopause. Yeah. I have guinea birds eating squash. I use my cane to herd them out when I catch them. Good job on pronouncing the hard word. Thank you. I wasn't sure I could do it. Oh, I have a lot of cats and chickens with 7 roosters, whoo, and 2 pigs. Not many critters come around. Yeah, my cats are scared of the chickens. Oh, mine don't bother them. My dogs tried to, but and dogs, I say dogs, 2 of them are my daughters up front. But we had Sky, and Sky died. And then we had Tippy. Well, Tippy, he killed a chicken when he first, not too long after. I mean, he was a puppy when he came here, and a little while later, he killed a chicken. But we put a shock collar on him, and all we had to do was give him a little light shock 3 times, and he was done. He won't touch a chicken. He won't even look at a chicken. uh, let's see. Let me get back up here. Hornworms have started hitting my garden. Oh no. If you spread lime dung over your garden, the pheromones in it ooze out and prevent other animals approaching your garden. My cats are too. Don't even have to worry for new chicks because of the cats being so afraid. Huh. I keep wondering if it's going to hit me later. Oh, I hope not, Lana. I hope you're done. I started the Perry in my 30s, but never passed until, whoops, I lost it, many years later. I have picked off almost 20 in 2 days. Oh, Patty, bless your heart. We have only seen one. I seen one little one that Lee got off, and we need to check again. But that was up at his garden. I haven't had any in our garden, but up at his big garden, we had one little small hornworm he picked off, and we need to check again. That was 2 days ago. It was Sunday. I need to borrow your dogs and cats. Too many wild rabbits and groundhogs. Well, they say them groundhogs are good for eating. I already told you that, Lana. You might need to get us a groundhog and let us try it. No access to line dung. No. Shock collars don't phase Chester. I've never seen so much hornworm larva. I have not seen lion dung around here. Oh, you must live in Africa or somewhere in America with mountain lions. Thankfully, we don't have them. We have black bears instead. I've had a mountain lion, but didn't ask it to poop on the garden. Oh, gotta run, y'all. Okay, thanks for stopping in. Jen, maybe? I don't know if it's Jen or well, I can't think of Brother Donnie and Jen's daughter's name right this minute. I'm sorry. Maybe I did have some of it. I was a little psycho a week before my cycle and then super clotty during. I found out that's a menopause coming sign. Where there's one hornworm, there's 2,000 nightmares. Yeah. I have a light. Ooh, I don't know what I done with it. I have one of the black lights. I was going to go out at night and check. I don't know what I did with the black light. It was right here. I had to find that black light before I can do that. But I was going to check at night with the black light and see if there was any more. Glad I got to catch you live for a change. Me too, Shelley. Can't believe I got inside in time. Good to see you. Hey, Joe. Well, I'm fixing to get off here. I've been on here since 12. I've been on here an hour and a half. I've gone over, talked about the heat, and I bet it's hot there too. Yeah, we talked about how hot it is and the heat and 3 guineas that showed up in my yard. I know they come from a neighbor over this way that's like a whole cornfield away. So they made their way somehow over here through the cornfield to my yard. And we've talked about everything, menopause and healthy eating and our gardens. And anyway, Annabeth, I could not think. Thank you. She's probably done gone now. So let's see. I got my nightlight ready, but just didn't want to go out. Went to bed instead. Yeah. The bad thing about going out right now, going with the nightlight, or the black light or whatever, is the mosquitoes are so bad. That's what I hate. The mosquitoes are just ferocious right now. It's horrible. As soon as you go out there, they just start swarming you. Like not up during the day, but at dusk, about dusk. Whew, it's horrible. Only 99 here today in central Louisiana. Well, it's like 98 here, I think, but it's so humid. It's just high heat index or whatever. Humid, I call it. Oh my, yeah, we're cooking and dry as a bone. Yeah. Have a great rest of your day. All right, Brenda. I think everybody needs to get back to what they were doing. I need to get back to work. True awful mosquitoes. Yep. I have a product I found from Dollar General that's all natural mosquito spray. Well, you'll have to tell me what it is if it's working good, especially all natural. I think I have something in there that's supposed to be all natural. I just bought I can't explain it. It's a bug. It's battery operated electric bug thing that puts off a scent. It heats up. It puts off a heated scent, but it only does a small area. But I got it to be on my screened in porch. The mosquitoes still get in there because there's cracks here and there. And even though it's a screened in porch, the mosquitoes still get in there some. Not bad. But I got it to put out there on my screened in porch when we're out there. And hopefully it'll keep them out of there at least. Anyway. Let's see, 96 feels like 112. It was 102 yesterday. My temps are in the shade under the carport. It's terrible. Yep. 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 All my dogs are under the air conditioner. It smells like bee balm, but it's bug spray. Oh, you have to tell me what that is, Lana. Send me a picture. I might have to check that out. I use dunks in water tubs to trap mosquitoes. Yeah, we used to get those when we had a little goldfish pond, and we would get those dunks and put in there to keep them from that. I'll bring you some tomorrow. They had it on clearance. I have seen it at Menards too. Okay, thank you. Glad I caught a little on the live. Thermocell. Yes, Barb, Bends Over Acres. It's a thermocell. That's what I have. I had a torch one that sticks in the yard a couple of years ago, but it messed up, and I still had some of the. It's got these little fuel things that heat it up, and I still had some of those, and it's expensive. But since I still had a bunch of those little thermocell things, I went ahead and bought another one because and then this one's not a torch. It's a hand. It's just so tall, and it clips. You can clip it on. Anyway, it's expensive, but I had all those thermocell things, and I thought, well, might as well buy another one so I can use those. Anyway, Brother Guy said they are telling people to take the day off after 2 p.m. because of the heat. Yeah, it's bad here. Everyone stop commenting. Teresa needs to go. Yeah, I got to work. I'd rather talk to y'all, though. I'd rather talk to y'all than work. But yeah, I do need to get back to work. But anyway, it's been great. It's been fun. So let me see, make sure I didn't miss something. I have bats that help. Yes, I did miss that. Can you burn bug fuel in old-fashioned oil burner lamps? I don't know. I bet you could. I bet you could. But I've got those, I use those. We've got several like those jars that you put citronella oil or whatever in. And I guess they do okay, but they don't do as good as this thing. This thermocell thing is good, but it's expensive. So I'll just tell you, only reason I bought another one was because I had all those fuel things left from the last one. And I finally thought, well, what the heck? I'm going to go ahead and get another one so that I can use those. But it's about $40. Just saying. I know that's expensive and we probably shouldn't have done it, but I had all those things left. I wanted to use them. So I went ahead and bought another one, and I know it works. So, but it doesn't do a very big area. It does a small area. It tells you on it how much area, like 15 feet or something like that. So anyway, I need to get your pickle recipe soon. It is on one of my videos. It's in the description of that video that is called about canning. What I can, what I won't can again, maybe. What I like to can, what I won't can again, something like that. I'll write it down and give it to you. I was supposed to give it to somebody else too. Somebody else been asking for it. My mama's pickle recipe is awesome, y'all. And it's in the description of that video about canning. It's got a little can picture on it that was a collaboration with some other people. It was about what I like and what I don't like to can or something like that. Anyway. My garden is drying up. We need rain. I've used the citronella oil in some of my oil lamps. Works fine. There you go. Joe at My Tennessee Home says she has used citronella oil in some of her oil lamps. Works fine. There you go. No, it is not the green tomatoes. No, it was in with the one about canning. I believe. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to send it to you, or I'll have to write it down and do it again, or take a picture of it or something. It's in my mom's cookbook recipe I made 4 years ago, but it's missing one thing. I always have to write, when I do that recipe, I have to write something about the vinegar. Something's missing about the vinegar. I think it doesn't tell how much vinegar or something like that. Anyway, I'll get it to you. I just made a batch of rattlesnake dilly beans. That sounds good. That sounds good. Well, I don't forget, I'm fixing to put up probably later today or tonight or in the morning, right away. I'm fixing to put up this, excuse me, this video about the fermented onions. So y'all be sure and watch that. And I'll put the recipe in the description, but I tell you in the video who I got it from, so you can go watch her do it and you'll get a better idea. But my main point was it's really good. I loved them. Fermented onions. Anyway, all right, I got to go. I got to work. Thanks, y'all, for being here. And I love you. And maybe we'll be live Friday night. Next Tuesday, just saying, next Tuesday, I won't be able to go live because I have to have the paper done early because of the 4th of July. So I probably won't be able to go live because I won't be able to stop and take this time out like I did today of my work because my work has to be done a day early. So actually a day and a half early. So anyway, so I probably won't have time to go live next Tuesday, but hopefully me and Lee will on Friday night. All right, thanks. I gotta go. I gotta end this thing.